In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 hacks to manifesting in a simulated reality, showing you how it's highly probable that we may live in a simulated reality, and what we can actually do to experience more of what we want in our lives. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron, and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you those 3 hacks that you can use when it comes to understanding how we create our own reality under the presumption that we may live in a simulated reality. Now this sounds like kind of an out there idea. This is actually something that Elon Musk recently talked about in a talk where he talked about the idea that it's highly probable we do live in a simulated reality. He said that the chances that we live, that what we experience as real in this reality is less than a 1% chance. It's a fraction of a 1% chance that this is the baseline reality, which means, and even just think about it, in the next 5 or 10 years, we're going to have technology to where we do not know the difference between what we are experiencing to what we are imagining, to what we are wearing, whether that's a VR headset or whatever it might be. We won't know the difference. And even now, if you've ever tried the technology, which I have, it's hard to tell the difference. It's almost like you feel like you're there. If that's the case, what's to say that at a higher level of consciousness, we may have already done something like that, where we could have an experience like we're having right now, what we call life, having an experience that we do where we can experience a lot of things in a period of time. And my general basis of this, the way I view it, is I believe that at a higher level of consciousness, we exist right now. In a way, we are dreaming that this is who we are. I'm dreaming that my name's Aaron, I make YouTube videos, I'm in Sedona right now making videos. That's something that I'm experiencing from a certain percentage or a certain level of consciousness, but at a greater level, I'm actually also much more expanded beyond that, just like you are in your life right now. You may not be aware of it, but you are so much more than you can imagine. When you go to bed at night, I believe you are awake to these higher states of consciousness. It's simply that you don't have a way of interpreting it in your current reality, and maybe even our brains can only interpret that which we already have reference experience for. So because of that, we may not have reference experiences in our current life of us being in higher dimensional states of consciousness like that. So it's not really relatable, but it also might not just be relevant. It might not be relevant for us to remember that in higher states of consciousness, we experience unconditional love and bliss, because then when we wake up here and there's these things going on and there's all this stuff going on and it seems like it could be negative, it may distract us from the life experience. So that's one thing that we experience when we come and have life on earth, is we forget who we are. We forget who we are. At many other places on earth, we remember who we are. This is something that if you want more information on this, you can read books by Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon has brought people, she's a hypnotherapist that she was for like 40 years. She got people to one of the deepest levels of brainwave activity, where then what would happen is people's higher self, subconscious mind would come through, and she could ask questions like, why did this person incarnate at this time? What is this person's relationship with this person in their life? And what happened was these people would come out with these things that their human self really couldn't even imagine, like things they wouldn't even imagine saying, and it was all in recording, and her books are transcripts of those. And there's a lot of people that say the reason they're here right now is because they are waking up to this type of transition that's happening on the planet. We're becoming more aware of who we are at a greater sense. So this is something that also correlates with that of understanding the probability that we live in a form of simulation, because a simulation is like us, and almost like a video game of us playing a video game. We log into a certain game, we're having a certain type of experience, and if we identify too much with the avatar, that's what we call our ego. And in a way, life is a way where we incarnate and we forget who we are. We forget that we're much more vast than we can imagine. We think that we are just the avatar, are just the ego, not knowing or remembering that we are so much more at a greater level. So sometimes we identify a little bit too much with that of the avatar that we experience. So this is all kind of a metaphor for us understanding the probability that we most likely do live in a form of simulation. Movies like the movie The Matrix, for example, was such a well-known movie, partly because it resonated with it really resonated with people at a deep level, because it's something that in a metaphor is something that is very probable. So let's first off talk about the different hacks of this system of living in a simulation. Now the first one is when we become more aware of how the rules work within the simulation, we then are able to hack it more. Now what this means is when we could call this a spiritual awakening. When I had my spiritual awakening back in 2012, I became more aware that I am not just the ego, I'm not just the avatar. I became aware of a larger perspective, and in that larger perspective, I became aware that I could choose my thoughts, my emotions. I could start to see things from a new point of view, and as I did, I woke up from the unconscious mind. Most people are creating their life with the law of attraction in an unconscious way. They're just not aware of the thoughts they're thinking. They're not aware of the emotions they're having. Therefore, they create the same things over and over and over again, and they may be trying to create from the paradigm of that egoic perspective. Now, the key is when we learn to observe our thoughts. The key is when we learn how to take ourselves out of the reaction mind, and we learn to observe our thoughts, observe the emotions we're having, observe the actions we're taking, and to direct it and really let go of what doesn't serve, but also direct it in a much more powerful way. So when we become aware that it's probable we do live in a simulation, we become aware that we then have more ability to direct it. Think of this as the metaphor of a lucid dream. If you are having a dream, and in that dream you become aware that you're dreaming, what will you do? Probably different stuff than if you were reacting with the ego and you were just blindly going through the dream. All of a sudden you're like, whoa, I can fly. I can do whatever the hell I want. You might want to go and experience what it's like to be in a huge house and to be around and have a relationship or whatever it is. You can imagine whatever you want instantaneously in a lucid dream because you're all aware of it. But if you're not aware of it, you just kind of flow through and are having an experience that's on autopilot. So the key is to be aware of the idea, because once you're in a dream and you become aware that it's a dream, you become lucid. Then you have more flexibility in the dream. In the same way, it's similar in life with the probability of it being a simulation, because then we become aware that we can direct our thoughts in a powerful way. So let me ask you a question. How do you view yourself in relation to manifestation? How do you view yourself in relation to the law of attraction process in general? Because if you believe it has to be hard, then the experience you create is that it is hard. But that's a belief that's being almost interwoven into the fabric of the way you experience reality. But it's something that's almost self-imposed at a subconscious level. So the key is you don't have to try so hard. Manifestation is a natural byproduct of reality itself. And if you say to yourself, I'm not manifesting things into my life, you are manifesting the experience of you not manifesting things into your life, which is a manifestation in itself. So the key is being aware of what you are manifesting, and you're always creating something in your life. So the reason I say that is you can begin to loosen up and to let go of it having to be so hard. It doesn't have to be hard because it's a natural byproduct of reality. You're doing it right now, even if you're aware of it, even if you're not aware of it. The question is not what can you create in your life, it's what will I and what do I intend to experience in my life, because you're going to create something. Might as well be something you want. So this is about being aware that when you become more aware of not just the ego self, but of this larger consciousness of who you are, that's when things begin to change. Also, align with the greater version of you. I know that I'm meant to be making YouTube videos because I feel passionate when I make videos. Maybe you love reading about a certain topic. Follow that passion, because that passion is aligning you with this larger consciousness aspect of you that exists right now. You may just be dreaming that this is who you are, but the way that you connect to it is you align with your passion. You align with what you're excited about. So that's the first step. Now, the first hack. The second hack is understanding something called lessening the entropy. Entropy means chaos. This is the way that the system of the simulation that we live in works. Is anything that brings people more in harmony with each other, the system likes that. The system, the simulation, the universe likes it when things are brought into harmony. That's why the law of attraction, we always attract more of whatever we are experiencing. Anything that lessens the degree of entropy in our life is going to help the system itself. So for example, one thing I realized earlier on when I was making YouTube videos is that the more I add value to other people, the more that comes back to me. This is because at a deeper level, I'm connected to those other people and those other people connected to me. We are all one consciousness. So anytime I'm especially making content that helps people to understand more about who they are anytime I do that, it's like the universe wants it to happen because I'm going to help more people, not even just me, but it's like beyond just the ego, but it's almost like this information wants to come through because it lessens the entropy, it lessens the chaos in society because the system wants this unification. This unification is you can think of it as a representation of source, connection, oneness, like all enlightened people talk about this, and oneness of connection. We're all connected to it. It's about lessening the entropy, lessening the chaos, and understanding that when we start to align our goals to the goals of adding value to other people, that's when powerful things really begin to happen. Because what we put out is what we get back, because literally the people we're putting out stuff to is another version of us. So we start to tap into a level of consciousness that is so much more beyond ourselves. So in a way, to hack the system of the simulation, start to add value to everyone involved, because that will come back to you in a very powerful way. There's always ways to do it. You may look at me and you may be like, you make videos on YouTube. That's different. I don't make YouTube videos. I don't do this. You add value just by being you, by you getting to the core of your passion, to the core of what you're excited about. By you doing that, that's when things really start to happen, because that, you might not know it, but that influences the people around you. Even people that aren't into my whole stuff, what I talk about on YouTube, friends and stuff, they're like, oh, Aaron's passionate about what he does. He's full-time doing what he loves. They may just be inspired by that. You're like, you know what? I'm passionate about this art thing. I'm going to start doing it more. You know, you never know how it's going to leak out, but by you being yourself, you inspire other people to be themselves. So start to see it as more of ways of tapping into the system of helping other people, because what you put out is what you get back. Those other people are other aspects of a deeper level of consciousness. And at a greater level, you're asleep at a higher level of consciousness, dreaming that this is who you are. You're so much more than that, and you can experience more of that by tapping into it. Now, the third hack is one that I read the book called Becoming Superhuman by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and a lot of his other work. But it's this simple idea. And it's a combination of two things, and these two things I found hack reality the most. If you combined these two things, everything in your life starts to go in a very powerful direction. That is an elevated emotion with an increased intention. This is why passion is so important, because it's so easy to focus on things you're passionate about. Now, an increased intention, or let's start with increased emotion. Something that you're passionate about. Get to the feeling. What are you passionate about? What's natural for you? When you combine the emotion with the intention, think to yourself, I intend ... What do you intend for in your life? Set more intentions. If you simply set more intentions in your life, you're going to experience more of what you want in your life experience. Intentions are like direction. Most people are focused on what they don't want. They're focused on what they want in the sense they don't currently have it. They're feeling resistance, which is that lack of emotion. You want to align your emotion to that of what you want to experience. If you want to know how to do that, anything you want in your life is because you believe you will feel better if you have it. That's a traditional Abraham Hicks quote. Anything you want to experience in your life is because you believe whatever that thing is, it'll bring you a certain emotion. If it's a relationship, you want connection and compassion. If it's money, you want freedom, security, or whatever money means to you. But what you begin to do is you begin to break down whatever that is into an emotion, and you find ways of feeling that emotion right now in the present moment. You can feel love, compassion, security, freedom in your life right now. You may say, well, I don't have a whole bunch of money. Do you have the freedom to go walk to the park? Do you have the freedom to go to your fridge and eat something right now? Because if you do, then you have some level of freedom. Do you have someone in your life you can feel compassionate about? Even if it's not a relationship, maybe it's your mom, your dad, sister, brother, whatever it is. You have someone in your family you can feel passionate about. You can generate that emotion right now with focus. Remember, focus equals feeling. I'm a strong believer that manifestation in general requires, for certain things to manifest, a great amount of focus. It's so easy for me to focus on my business, on me creating videos, because I love it. And I spend probably 12 hours a day doing it. And it's easy because I love doing it. So it manifests in a certain way for me because of that. It's a side effect of that focus. Focus equals feeling. So focus on perspectives you're already grateful for. That's the emotion. An increased intention. What do you want to experience? What do you want? Have a clear picture of what that is. Many people are focused on what they don't want. They're focused on how they hope something doesn't happen. If a guy goes up to a girl, he may be more focused, instead of on trying to connect with that girl or getting her number. He may be more focused on not getting rejected. Most people are focused in their life on not failing. If you're focused on not failing, you're still focused on failing. You want to be focused on you achieving what you want, your goals. That's where you want to head. Whatever you focus on grows. You focus on that outcome, you'll experience more of it. So that's a hack that if you begin to apply the elevated emotion with the increased intention, becoming clear as to what you want, aligning your emotion to it, it starts to really influence you in a very powerful way. Now, these 3 hacks are things that have totally changed my life. And it's something you can easily apply by understanding you are so much more than you could possibly imagine. When you become aware that it's highly probable that you are in a form of simulation, that you are unconditional love and bliss, you exist at a higher level of consciousness, you're just dreaming that this is who you are. When you become aware of that, you start to gain more of an ability, because then you, like in a lucid dream, you're in a dream and you're becoming lucid to it, then you can control it. And in a way, it's more so about direction than control in life. You want to let go at the same time, but you want to become clear as to what that is. When you align your energy to that of lessening the entropy, lessening and adding value to more people, understanding that what you put out is what you get back, when you connect to that, things will start to happen very powerfully for you, because it's almost like whatever you want to experience also wants to experience you. The universe wants to manifest through you because you're going to use it to something that adds value to more than just you, to everyone else as well. I found that to be very powerful in what I do, creating videos for people. And then thirdly, increased intention, increased emotion. Use that, combine the two, and it will powerfully change your life. Now, something else I have, if you want to learn how to transcend your level of consciousness, to start to really create what you want from a higher vibrational point of view, I've created a free guided meditation that will help you to do that. It's absolutely free. I recommend you listen to it for 21 days. I think it can absolutely change your life. It's going to be at the top of the description box below. I'm also going to be doing more live Q&As on Instagram. So if you want to ask me questions, you have questions about this, go ahead and follow me on Instagram below. I'll go ahead and link it right here for you. And I'll do more live Q&As there. I do other things as well as post daily content. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and follow me. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification gear so that you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.